Esperamos unos 5 minutos, si quieres, cuando arranquemos,
Mhm.
de cortesía. Bueno, no, empiezo a hablar yo, así guardamos el tiempo, ¿no? Presentándote y etcétera. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us today to our Product Malaga third edition. I'm Selena Carreño, co-organizer of this event. I'm VP of Technology and Head of Product in Global. I'm happy to introduce you Rafael Mompó. He's a project and product manager for OTT services for telecom services. Rafael's role is that of the 600 project product manager that high-tech markets are embracing today, combine technical, commercial, onboarding, and continuous improvement. Rafael is a telecommunications engineer since 36 years back, doctor in that area and master in marketing by the EI Business School, university professor for a long time in his professional career, and now product manager practitioner at Global. And he is, of course, a seed generation fan. Please remember that all questions can be left in the chat of this talk. I hope you enjoy this talk, and thank you, Rafa.
Thank you, Sally. Good morning, good afternoon, and I guess that no good night for anyone. We are recording this talk just in case one of you want to see this afterwards or whatever. Yes, as Sally said, my professional origins are those of the telecommunications sector. I was a telecommunications engineer when I started my professional career. Then when it came this 2000 problem with the internet, I turned to the marketing business because I understand that time. I don't know if you remember the internet crash of the 2000. That it doesn't matter. You have a lot of good technology, or if your products are intended for the future or are going to to give better experiences to the user if behind that is not a product marketing strategy. This is what I understood in that time. So I went to the IA Business School, one sabbatical year, studied the master in marketing, in product, and that changed my life. It was 22, 21 years ago. It changed my life because my engineering mindset changes. And now, I don't know if now I am an engineer, if I am a product guy, or maybe business, or I don't know what. Because I think that in the transdisciplinary edges, there is where I want to be, where I want to work. Because there, in these frontiers, there you have all the creativity that the product needs to evolve in all areas, and of course in the digital areas, which is where I'm working currently at Globant. As you can see, the title of this talk is Product Cycle Oriented Way of Working. Why that? Why that? Because today we need to understand the product as a whole. You cannot understand the product as silos, the ones that are developing, others that are operating, the ones that are designing the services. It's a you can feel comfortable in your silo, but you need to connect everyone. So this is the reason we need the product management practice to accomplish that. I mean, to orchestrate the relationships between all the stakeholders. We're going to apply that to the OTT video services, the Netflix or the Movistar or the HBO, but you can apply this to any digital services, and I would say to any telecom services or even to any service if you wish. So the topics for these talks are four. First of all, we're going to discuss what is work around the product. Then why I suggest that when it comes to the continuous improvement of a product, it is a key mission for the product manager to accomplish. I'm going to propose that we're going to give that direction to the technical teams, or we're not going to give that direction to the operation teams. I suggest that this is a mission for the product management practice. Then the third point is, okay, we want to be this linchpin of the product cycle, of the life cycle of the product. So we need a specific character to deal with that. I mean, a specific professional character, a specific career development. This is what I want to discuss in this third point. And then finally, an application to OTT products. I'm going to propose a roadmap based on the boundaries, on the frontiers between the disciplines, okay? So this is what I am going to propose within item number 4. Okay, so what is work around the product? Work around the product is about connecting people, because the product, the service, everything is based on the people. So if you manage to align everyone around the product, then you're going to success on it. What I'm saying in product, and I'm not saying technology, or I'm not saying processes, because at the end of the day, what we need is to be oriented to the client. And the client sees the product. They don't see the processes, they don't see the technology, they see the product. So this is the reason of the work around the product. Indeed, from a marketing perspective, this is the way of doing that. When you are preparing a strategic plan, of course, you prepare the financial plan, all the logistic things you need to do that. But the key, the linchpin of all the business plan is the product marketing plan, which is my product and how I'm going to evolve the product. Well, life cycle. This is something that we all know if we are working in digital services. We know that everything starts with the design. Then that design, we send that to the developers. Then the developers start putting that in a pre-production environment, and quality assurance testers start the job. They start working each other, and then they say, okay, we have the product and we can deploy to production. Here is the release. And the operation starts. Okay, what we need to improve the design is that feedback from the operation, which of course now we can apply machine learning approaches or at least data analysis for that feedback of the operation. Okay, I think that we understand that. But there are other areas that we need to take into consideration. So things are not so easy as one can expect when you think of the product only as a software product or a software service. You see that you have, of course, a business strategy that is on top of everything. We have added here these testing areas between in the dev side and in the ops side. And then regarding the intelligence, this data analysis, we need to understand that today we have artificial intelligence, we have machine learning algorithms, we have big data. So we can take advantage of the big data to fit the business strategy and also on the technical side to improve the operations, to troubleshoot better. These are the two areas in which we need to use artificial intelligence on top of the usual business intelligence that we use when we are operating a service. Of course, we test when we are designing and we test when we are deploying. So things are more and more complicated. Of course, we have tools. Okay, who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders change between projects or companies or even industries or sectors. Here is a usual breakdown of the stakeholders in a project or in a company or in a product. My proposal is that all is based on operation. Operation is the basement because operation is giving us the feedback, because operation is in charge of the performance of the service. So we need operation here in the basement. Then the service design that needs the feedback of the operation. Then the business analysis that needs to understand the service, the evolution of the service, how the service is performing. And then all that needs to be put in terms of a technical development. And this technical development, for quality reasons, needs to be supervised by the quality assurance and testing team. So these are the musicians, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we need to align all these 5 teams, all these 5 cultures. The developers have their culture, the operations teams have their culture. Here you have technicians, here you have technicians, here you have a business guys. Here you have the ones that are, I don't know if say that they are technicians or if they're auditors. They are special for sure because they need to, at the end of the day, they are accountable if things are not performing well. Now let's explore these relationships between the members of the orchestra, the musicians of the orchestra. So let's start with the operations. What is operations? Operations is look at the end-to-end performance of the service. So operations is the quality of experience driver. It's not only a question of maintaining machines, or not only a question of monitoring technical KPIs. At the end of the day, they are in charge of the quality of experience. Indeed, they know better than anyone how is the user using or experiencing the service. So from a product perspective, we need to be near them. And we need to establish a common language to understand each other. Because we are as a product managers, we are in our product silo, they are in the operation silo. We need a reason to bridge those silos to speak one to the other. And this language is the quality of experience. So we have here the quality of experience, we have our common language. And then they also have the monitoring data. An operational system, an operational team, they have a lot of data from the different devices, systems, how the user is using that. Usually, when this data comes to us, the product team, we only see a small part of it, which is the business intelligence. So we have our data warehouse, and we see, okay, we have here all the data, we have the business intelligence system, and we think that we know everything. But these guys from operations knows. They know that they are only giving us a small part, the part that they think that we can understand better, because they think that we cannot understand certain technical KPIs or certain technical performance, which is not true. What we need is to talk with them with this quality of experience language. And that way, we are going to have the classical business intelligence and also a lot of big data, which is what we need for the feedback to improve our service. Second thing, the service design. Service design, the guys that take the business strategy and start putting that in a digital service and design the screens, design the journeys, digital journeys in this case. They have, of course, a strong methodologies to take all that business strategy, to take that business vision, to understand users, to understand the sector. And with these strong tools that they have, they produce something that can be sent to the technical team, the developers. So service design is based in the business strategy. And for that, they need the feedback from operation. Again, you have here another bridge. Service design in front of the operation teams. Which is the common language? Do they have a common language? The answer is not really. So what we need here is the language of the product management. So we have here another bridge. And we as product managers need to work to make them understand each other. The business analysis. The business analysis, normally they work here on the development side because they are the ones in charge of orchestrating all this cycle. In terms, I'm not saying that they are the Scrum Masters and all this agile methodology, but of course they are the ones that are taking the design, put that in terms of user stories. Here are the user stories. And then, of course, they are going to be the intermediaries between the testing teams and the development. They are the ones that are going to say okay to the deployment in terms of the product, because they are the ones that know better the user stories. But usually they are not doing many work in this part, in the operation part. Here there is a boundary. And here we also need the business analysts. We need that because the business analysts are the ones who are going to take the feedback from the operation and send it back to the development side of the DevOps process. So again, the bridge between these two worlds, the operations and the development, is within the product management practice. in the role of the business analyst. You have here another bridge. More bridges. The development team. The development team, they focus on the development here, and they trigger the pipeline to the deployment. But they need to do that taking into consideration the quality assurance, which is here. So if you are developing and at the same time you are developing, you are taking into consideration the quality of experience, then your deployment is going to be more rich, more efficient, more on time into the market. And this is the reason why you need to work very, very closely with the quality assurance teams, with the testers in development. And to do that, you also need a mindset of product, because you need to take always into consideration the quality of experience. So it's not only a question that I, as a developer, take a user story, and then the same user story is taken by the quality assurance team. So they develop, they test based on the user story. It's not enough, because when they are developing, when they are testing, they are experiencing the quality of experience. So we need their feedback. We need to work as product team. We need to work very closely with them when they are doing this. Because the user stories, what we have envisaged is in our minds. But the first time it's in practice, in development, that we can see that is when they are testing in development. So again, when they are working here, we need the feedback. The product feedback. And the language is quality of experience. Again, we as product managers, as business analysts, maybe we don't care too much about the technical approaches. We need to know, some of that, we're going to discuss that later. But for sure, we need specific inputs. And these inputs are related to the quality of experience. So we need to focus in these interactions to be aware of what is happening in this area. Next, the quality assurance. Quality assurance. Again, we need quality assurance in the testing side and in the development side, and also in the operational side. Sometimes the teams are different, or they are usually different. I mean that in a project, in a service, you have one team for the testing in development and another team for the quality assurance in operations. If this is the case, from a pragmatical perspective, maybe it's good because they are specialized. I mean that a good quality assurance testers in depth, their character is maybe quite different or some different from the same professional character in ops. So if this is the case, you need to bridge. And again, who is going to bridge that? Developers, operation, who is going to do that? Product again. Why? Because product understands the user story here and understands the product performance here. So we can bridge. So we need to take on that. Okay, what about working in team between developers and business analysts? For this process, you have here the input, which is the user story. And here to output, which is the release. And you need to orchestrate developers with the testing team. The testing team with pre-production. And you need also to be pushing the deployment. Again, we need a role to bridge all this. So I suggest that the role is again the product. Why? Because the product is aware of the business necessities on time to market. Product is aware of the user story. Product is aware, okay, quality assurance, is this okay or not? Maybe it's not exactly okay from a technical perspective, or it's not exactly what the user story says, but we know that from the business perspective or from the quality of experience, we know that we can say an okay to this development, at least for this sprint. So we can do that part. Service designers versus business analysts. Here we have the input is here, the feedback from production, from operations. And the output is the design. They cannot design well if they don't have this feedback. It's not possible. Because if you only look at the business strategy, you are missing the usage of the service. So you need that feedback. Who can provide that feedback? It's a question of product. And that's good, because this design, then you're going behind this output, you have the input to the development process, the user story. So it's good. But if you're going to produce here the user story, you have the good feedback from the operations, and you are working closely with the designers. And that's all. You see, we have many teams, 5 big stakeholders, many relationships between the stakeholders, and you need to bridge that, to break the silos. And since the orientation is to the product, since what we need is to do business, since what we need is that our client, the user, is saying, okay, I'm good with the service, I'm engaging with the service. So this is our guide, this is our way, the best team that can provide the decisions, or I'm not going to say the decisions. Let's talk about orchestration, about putting all of them in the same page, and to start these meaningful conversations, this environment. I think that the product vision is the one that can be understood better uh, by all the stakeholders. Okay, second part of my suggestion. I'm going to say this as suggestions. It was when we are facing the continuous improvement of the service, who is going to take on that mission? Again, my suggestion is that this role can be a role for the product management practice. Why? Because you are orchestrating. So if you are continuously orchestrating all the stakeholders, and as the continuous improvement is something that is based on orchestration, then it's also something that the product team is doing every day. Alignment of stakeholders. Okay. Let's discuss this a bit more. Continuous improvement action plan. You need to improve your service. My suggestion is that we should start by gathering all the information from the operation side. We can start here. There are, for example, a lot of calls from customers that are calling and saying, okay, I have a problem with this or with that. We have also information on the queries, on the usage of these e-commerce sites. We have all that information. So this should be the trigger of any continuous improvement plan, because we are oriented to the client. We are oriented to the product. Once we have that feedback, then we need to talk with the design team. Because they are taking that feedback, at the end, they are making that feedback into a specific features or specific improvements. What if it's not only a question of improving the feature, but it's a question of improving the performance? Again, these guys from the design teams need to be aware of that. Meaning that if there is a problem in the performance, I mean the time to access to the videos in an OTT service, they need to know that and include that in their design. Design is not only graphical design. Design is not only customer journey through a digital application. Design is also technological design. You say, okay, these guys here, they don't know about software development, about DevOps, about systems. Of course they don't. But it's not their specialty. but they need to understand what is happening. And you can understand that based on the KPIs, the technical KPIs. You define 3, 4, 5, 6 KPIs. And these KPIs, they are reflecting the technical performance of the system. So these guys can understand these KPIs and turn the KPIs into new feature designs, new improvements, new whatever. Again, when they are designing, they need to talk to many stakeholders, not only business, but also technical. Who are the ones that are going to bridge that conversation? Who are the ones that are accountable for the service performance or for the business or for the product that is doing well in the market, the product area? So we have better to specialize in giving this team all the insights, all the relationships to the other teams. We need that for the continuous improvement. And finally, all that needs to be developed. And again, here you are not giving user stories. It's more than that. It's a user story. It's also a collection of bugs. Because you say, okay, but as a product, you are not going to understand which are the bugs that you need to take care in the next sprint. Of course not, but someone needs to say, okay, we're going to tackle these 5. Say, which 5? Someone needs to understand which 5. And the 5 that needs to be tackled are the ones that are affected by the quality of experience or by the healthy of the business. So again, this is a product thing based on KPIs. The KPI is our friend. Finally, deployment. This is tricky, the deployment, because a friend of mine said that when you are deploying, then the defects, 50% of the defects are detected here in the development quality assurance phase, then pre-production. Then another 31 are detected here in the first user testing or in the deployment procedure in general. And then there is another 20% that is not detected. This is true. At least in the video business, this is true. So, what if you are only prepared? If you only work in this 50%, because all the time you are using all the time, all the sprint time, all the development efforts, everything here in the development phase. Because you think that when it's ready, you put that in the pipeline, and this pipeline send you to the production. You say, okay, here there is a user acceptance testing, but nothing is going to happen. Maybe a slight defect or something that is not very important, because we have checked that and we're sure that the development is good and everything is okay, which is not true. And in these demanding services, like the video services, it's less true than in other services, because when you put things into production, when you put things in the big machines, when you are offering the service not in a staging environment, but in the real production environment, things behave differently. So this is the reason that you need to connect this deployment path with the development path. And you need to do that in an agile fashion, not in a waterfall fashion. Because if you do that in a waterfall fashion, you need 1 month to develop this, and then 2 months to put everything ready for releasing to production. This is the reality. So again, you need here very difficult connections in this pipeline. And you need to apply some management strategies. I'm going to talk about a strategy that I think that works well to make these times more tight and be into production in a shorter time. Yes, the way to do that, sorry, is that you need to prepare a testing plan here in the design, testing plan. This is the same testing plan that you are using here. And this is the same testing plan that you are using here. And the same system plan that you're using here. So if these 4 testing plans are consistent, you are ensuring that things are going to work better. This is why you need to apply or to invest in automation, in testing automation. Why? Because testing automation is something that you can do in all the stages. So it is a good way of checking that things are working properly. For example, now there are in the market some strategies in which you can include the testing automation within the development. I mean, you can add code to the code, to the service code, to the functional code, so that this code is embedded, and you can use that for the testing in the other stages and make all that consistent. You need to invest. It's not something that is cheap, although it's not complex. You only need to put resources on that. So we're saying that here is the product management team, this professional character, someone, this is like, I'm not going to say a hero, but at least someone that need to know about many things and need to have some soft skills to align everyone and maybe to make some magic. Or at least it's something that we can conclude from the previous slides. So, which is the character of the product manager? My proposal is to use the character or the education or the training that in the past was used for the system engineering education or career development. Okay, you can say is it close to the product management? Meaning that it's not a question of engineering. In the product, you have of course, the engineering side, but also the business side. Of course, the business analysis practice with the techniques. This is very and speciality and everything. So the way to tackle that is that you start here with this vertical stroke. And here you have your main competency. For example, my main competency, I can say that is engineering. But other colleagues, their main specialty is marketing. And others are developers. Or business analysts. All of us are candidates for product managers, or are candidates to be part of a product team, because we have this vertical specialty. Okay, so the start point is that all professionals can be part of a product team if they develop their career thinking of being in a product team. I mean, so the starting point is good. What is the life cycle, which is a concept of the systems engineering too? Product cycle is about conceiving a product, designing a product, implementing a product, and operating a product. It seems product management, isn't it? Product team is conceiving, product team is designing. They are the linchpins of the implementation, and they need to be at least aware of the operation. So this is the life cycle of a product from an engineering perspective. And I think that we all agree that from a product management perspective. To reach that, we need to be here in layer 2. But when we start our career, we are here. We need to progress to here. Okay. Let's see how we can progress. So we start with our specialty, which is, let's say, marketing. And you say, okay, I start my career in a product team as a marketing specialist. And I want to progress here to layer 1. This is not the way. The way is that you need to know about the other specialties. You need to know a bit about engineering. You need to know about business analysis. You need to know about the quality of experience, which are verticals. And on the contrary, if you are an expert on quality of experience, you also need to know about marketing. And you also need to know a little bit about deployment. So this is the first step. You need to know about the knowledge of the adjacent disciplines. Okay, you're a curious person and you have some training, at least some interest in the other disciplines. Then when you are in that point, then you can progress to layer one. And progress to layer one is about cooperation. A professional that is a professional of product needs to have good soft skills on cooperation. It's mandatory. Even if you are not responsible, even if you are not accountable, you need to be participating on cooperating. You have to have that mindset of cooperating. So, is this something that all professionals have? Not all professionals needs to have that. I mean that there are a lot of jobs and you don't need to be here in layer one. But if you want to work in the product practice, you need to have the mindset of the multidisciplinary cooperation. You like to be that. You like to be in different teams. You like not to be the boss of one area, but the one that is aligning everyone. You need to evolve as a natural leader, this kind of soft skills. And you need to train that. And this is the reason that you need to take advantage of the training, the education, opportunities that your company gives to you, because you have many training about this. And you have the mentors and you have the feedbacks. For example, here in Globant, you have a very good process on stars that your colleagues give you stars. So you have this continuous feedback, you have the mentors, you have the training. So you have to take advantage of that before progressing to layer two, which is the life cycle layer. They conceive, design, implement, and operate. So when you have these skills of cooperation, next step is to start using your skills to bridge all these stakeholders, to bridge all these stages in the product life cycle. This is here in layer two, when you can start doing these things. But prior to that, you need the cooperation skills. And prior to that, you need to have several knowledge, not only of your discipline, but of other disciplines. So when you are in layer two, I think that here you can be a good product manager. And finally, you progress to layer three. And in layer three, okay, here what you have these social, personal, and communication behaviors. You need to be seen as a honest person, the one that listens, the one that is a good influencer. You need to be this big leader here in layer three. It's not necessary that everyone wants to be here in layer three. If you are in layer two, you are good for the product management practice. I mean, for a good professional development. But for sure, we also need this kind of leadership in the product practice. Now, let's apply that to the case of the video OTT product. Here, my proposal is to focus on the intersections. Since the product management is about bridging, is about aligning, we can propose roadmaps in the intersections because this is our job. So, for example, here, an intersection between the business strategy, the design, the development. A product or a feature that we need to apply to all the video OTT businesses is to aggregate third-party services or contents, including advertising, because all OTT operators need to monetize. So this is something that should be in our roadmap for the video service, which is monetization. Another thing that should be included in our product roadmap is the revamping of the service, the 360 revamping of a service. We need to propose that. We need to take on that because we know what is happening with the service. We also know, we know how it is performing technically because we have these 4, 5, 3 KPIs, technical KPIs that we are continuously observing. And we have also access to the customer reactions and to the call center. So this is here, this is something projects that we as product area can propose in the video. And I think that in other digital services too. What about the artificial intelligence to data processing? Again, they give us the classic business intelligence information to manage our product, but we need more than that. Since we need more than that, we need to push in our roadmap projects to use artificial intelligence and big data. More to the roadmap. The automatic testing while developing, automatic testing on operations, looking to the KPIs, all that to make time to market a reality. If not, time to market is not possible. It's also only possible if you can ensure quality. And to ensure quality, you need to have here a roadmap in which you are going to align the quality of the development to the quality that you see in the other parts of the product life cycle. For example, a good one for this case of design. I was saying before that design is not only a question of graphical design of customer journey through a digital service. For example, what about moving platforms to the cloud? Okay, this is a technical decision. This is not a product decision. This is a product decision. Because when you move platforms to the cloud, you are improving the performance. For example, you can sell your service in more than one country, for example. This kind of thing. Or for example, this other one for the video. Use brand set-top boxes. The Xiaomi, the Amazon, the Google Chrome. Are we using these brand set-top boxes, or are we purchasing this Chinese set-top box because it's cheaper? Again, it's not only a technical decision, it's a product decision. For example, if you are using the Apple TV set-top box, users are not using Apple TV only to watch an OTT service. They are using this to play. This is for them, this is an asset to do things in the big screen. So it's not only a question, it's not only a technical decision, it's only a product decision. And I think that that's all. That's all on my side. I think that we can discuss if you wish. You can ask questions.
I think we have a question for Jesus. He said, the old Nokia slogan fits here for layer 1 and 2, I guess, connecting people. And so it's more about that cooperation itself than tech knowledge, right?
Yes. This is the cooperation. This is to develop the skill. Meaning that you are working in your vertical because you are a software developer. And then you just go, okay, I can be a software developer. I can live in my Jira tickets. I can visit the agile ceremonies. I can blame everyone. Or you can say, okay, I'm a developer. I know about of technology. And here is poor Rafa, which is me, that don't know some specific things about the technology. And if he can understand a little bit more, for sure, he's going to write better user stories. Then you talk with Rafa, and then you open your Slack, or even you manage to have a coffee with him, then you are progressing to layer 1. And in the future, if you wish, you're going to be a good product manager. I know, Jesus, this is the reason I'm saying this. Because I know that he's going to be a very good project manager.
I think we don't have more questions, Rafa. I don't know if you want to add anything else about this talk.
No, so thank you. Thank you so much, Feli, for this opportunity, because it's good,
Please.
because it's true that this is my book, this is the way I work, and it's amazing that I can put all that in a presentation and to talk about this and have the Jesus listening to that. And of course, many others that I know that I think that they can take advantage of these ideas to progress more on their careers and to help product teams better.
Thank you, Rafa, from the Product Town Malaga organization. Tiziana and myself we are very happy to have you here. So thank you for joining us today, everyone. The next Product Town Malaga will be face-to-face. We will confirm the date, place, speaker, and topic of the talk soon on our social networks and in our Meetup account. Thank you so much again, Rafa, for your time and for sharing all this knowledge and all your expertise in this topic.
A pleasure. Bye.
Bye, everyone.